We'll start with the Jets. Jets 0-7 at the Bengals, who are coming off of a big win on Thursday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Glenn says he hasn't named the starting QB yet. He hasn't named one to have a competitive advantage, whatever that means. Trey Hendrickson is questionable. Garrett Wilson has not been practicing. Hendrickson was limited. So this Bengals pass rush without Trey Hendrickson was non-existent against the Steelers, who have one of the worst offensive lines, maybe not worst, a very young and experienced offensive line, rather. They got no pressure without Trey Hendrickson. So if Trey Hendrickson doesn't play, I think this Jets offensive line, which might look bad if you're just looking at the sack numbers, it has actually been pretty efficient considering all the young talent they have there. Armand Memmu's been an absolute stud. Olu Fashanu, second-year first-round pick left tackle, has been shaky, but he's still young. He didn't really start a whole lot last year, and he did get hurt when he did come in. So these two tackles are getting better. They're young. Membus looks like a stud. Fashanu doesn't look that great. But against this Bengals defensive line without Trey Hendrickson, they should be able to have time for whatever QB they start. This offense looks so much better with Tyrod Taylor in it in the second half of last week's game against the Panthers, and it didn't even look that good. It looked so horrible with Justin Fields. So I think Tyrod will get the start in this game if I had to bet money on it. And although people like to rip the Bengals defense, DJ Turner is one of the most underrated corners in football. Cam Taylor-Britt is a more than serviceable corner as well, and the Jets are probably going to be without Garrett Wilson, so don't rely on anybody to get any type of separation in this Jets out of these Jets weapons. But there was a guy named Mason Taylor, and if you remember that Thursday Night Football game, I almost said Heath Miller. That's the old Steelers tight end. Who's that? Not Jonnu Smith, not Darnell Washington, excuse me. Pat Freiermuth. It was the tight ends that cooked this Bengals secondary, not DK Metcalf. He got locked up a little bit. So I think Mason Taylor could be in for a monster day against this Bengals secondary, this Bengals defense. The Jets defense also has stepped up over the past 2 weeks, holding Bo Nix to 174 passing yards and Bryce Young to 138 passing yards. But neither of those quarterbacks have Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, and you're going to have Brandon Stevens and/or A.Z. Thomas, rookie third-round pick out of Florida State, matched up against Chase or Higgins. Not ideal. I think Joe Flacco will have time in the pocket because the Jets are 29th in pressure rate and 30th in sack rate. And against the Steelers defense, he didn't have that. He did have time in the pocket. He's going to have way more time against this Jets passer. So I think this Bengals offense could be in for a big day as well. And as great as Sauce Gardner is, and he has been great outside of like 3 plays, a Darren Waller touchdown, the George Pickens touchdown, but was pretty obvious offensive pass interference that didn't get called. I don't think this secondary will be able to contain the Bengals and Jamar Chase in this offense. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The Jets are my upset pick this week. And you're going to think, oh, look at this guy wearing a Jets jersey. Listen, over the last 4 weeks, my upset pick has always covered the spread. They're 2 for 4 on the money line. It was Arizona the last 2 weeks. They covered 2 weeks in a row. It was the Giants against the Cardinals, and it was Giants against the Chargers, and it was the Titans against the Cardinals. So I've been 4 straight weeks where my upset pick covers the spread, and it's been they're 2 and 4 on the money line as well. So my upset picks have been hot. I think the Jets are the upset play of the week. And it's not just because I'm a Jets fan. You have to hear me out for a second. As bad as the Jets offense has been, they are top 10 in rushing yards and top 5 in yards per carry. Conversely, the Bengals defense has allowed the 4th most rushing yards on the season and 7th most yards per carry at 4.7 yards per total. So the Bengals are bad against the run. The Jets have one of the best rushing attacks in football. As long as they don't turn the ball over and they stay ahead of the sticks, they should be able to keep Joe Flacco in this offense off the field, which is beneficial because the Jets defense absolutely stinks. That being said, though, since getting Jermaine Johnson back over the past 2 weeks, they're allowing just 12 points a game. So Jermaine Johnson, when he starts on this defense for the New York Jets, they're 2-1 against the spread. He started week 1. He started the last 2 weeks. The Jets match up well. They run the ball well. The Bengals defense stinks even without Garrett Wilson. I think there's the Bengals secondary is like pretty overhated on. DJ Turner and Cam Taylor-Britt are pretty solid corners. Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson aren't getting separation. But who cooked the Bengals on Thursday Night Football? It was Pat Freiermuth. It was Jonnu Smith. Mason Taylor, big day coming. And Aaron Glenn's pretending he doesn't know, like he's not pretending, but he's not giving the media any information who's starting. I'll tell you who's starting. I'll say it's Tyrod Taylor. Unless it's Brady Cook, that would be stunning. But it's probably Tyrod Taylor. The Jets are going to cover the spread, and I think the Jets have a better chance than a lot of people are giving them credit for to get their first win on the season. So they are the upset pick this NFL Sunday. Definitely no bias in that. I'm trying not to be biased. I hate the Jets, but it's just the matchup. The matchup is what jumps off the screen to me with the Jets' ability to run the football. Trey Hendrickson might not play, which is beneficial for the Jets as well because the Bengals pass rush is non-existent. So I like it. I like it. I like it. And like teams were just blitzing the shit out of Justin Fields, and he didn't know what to do half the time. You can't really like if Tyrod plays, he's going to be better against the blitz than Fields, objectively. But take Brees Hall rushing yards, T Higgins receiving yards. If you like what the lines are at, I didn't look at them yet. I'll get into the player props on tomorrow's episode. All right, Dolphins 1-6 at Falcons 3-3. Atlanta are 7.5-point favorites. The Falcons are blowing the Miami Dolphins out. There's not a worse vibes team in the NFL than the Miami Dolphins. And I understand you're going to see me wearing a Jets shirt. You're like, how could you say that? Well, at least we don't have our quarterback isn't going. Actually, I don't know. It's pretty bad vibes in both spots. They're both pretty bad vibes. But I think the Dolphins are a little bit worse. The Jets are known for bad vibes, so we're used to this. Whereas Dolphins are like they're good vibes for a little bit, bad. Good for a little bit, bad. Right now they are really bad. And this Falcons team at home is going to blow out the Miami Dolphins. The Falcons defense has been locks, man. And the Dolphins offense, horrible. To his second interceptions, he's been sacked the ninth most in the league. Not to mention the run game is ranked 26th in the NFL. The Falcons defense is first in total defense, the number one pass defense, and they're top 10 in turnovers. Tua turns the ball over a lot. I don't think this Dolphins offense can get anything going unless it's with Achane on the ground, but they're going to be playing from behind because this Falcons offense is going to have a field day against this Miami defense, so they won't be able to establish the run. They'll be playing from behind. Tua will be forced to pass the ball, which means he's going to get sacked a lot because this Falcons pass rush, although not great, way better than it was last year, getting better by the week with the young guys that they have in there with Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., Ebitibike, or however you say his name. They got guys now. The secondary is elite. It's just Jalen Waddle. I think Terrell and company will be able to slow him down. They won't let him get going. They're going to force turnovers, and this offense is going to run through this Dolphins defense. They're allowed 5.2 yards per carry. Bijan Robinson's been the best running back in football, and then Darnell Mooney and Drake London aren't going to be locked up by Storm Duck, I promise. So I think this Falcons offense is going to have a great day, and this Dolphins offense would be efficient if they could establish the run, but they're going to be playing from behind anyway, so what's it worth? They're not going to be able to get the run going. Falcons win by 2 touchdowns in Atlanta and take care of the Dolphins. And I think this might be the last game McDaniel coaches as the head coach in Miami. So take Atlanta -7. Take some Bijan props as well. All right, Patriots 5-2 at Browns, who are 2-5. The Pats are 6.5-point favorites in this game, and I wanted to take Cleveland. But it's just I don't see this Browns offense being able to score any points against this Patriots defense. That is one of the best in the run. They're top 3 in yards per carry allowed, allowing just 3.3 yards per carry, and that is the Browns offense. The Browns offense is through Quinshon Judkins. The Patriots have one of the best run defenses in the NFL. I think Mike Vrabel is going to be able to game plan against this Browns offense too. That is just horrible throwing the football. Dillon Gabriel and Jerry Jeudy against Christian Gonzalez. Good luck. They're not going to be able to throw the ball. They're not going to be able to run the ball either because that's what the Patriots game plan is going to be. Like if we stop the run game, we stop the offense, then we trust our offense to be able to move the ball against one of the best defensive units in the NFL. I think the under is a safe play here. It is really low at 40.5. I think the Patriots win this game like 23-12. The Browns might stumble their way into the end zone, kick a couple of field goals, but I think the Pats are going to win. They are going to cover. They have looked very dominant. I think Drake May he's been sensational. Although Myles Garrett versus short arm Will Campbell is a matchup to pay attention to. I think the Pats offensive line will struggle, but I think Drake May is inevitable. At some point, he's going to get his. So I love the under in this game. I really do. I love the under. I don't think the Browns will be able to move the ball at all. I think the Browns have one of the best defense. I know the Browns objectively do have one of the best defenses in the NFL. I mean, you look at the Patriots' schedule so far this year, they haven't really played a whole lot of tough defenses, like at the top of my head. Like the Bills' defense is garbage. Um, who else have they played? Let me pull it up. The Raiders' defense stinks. The Steelers' defense is mid. The Panthers' defense is mid. The Saints, Titans, but like this is the best defense they've played all year. I think we're going to see a little bit. I don't want to say regression, but it's not going to be as easy sledding as it has been for Drake May. So I love the under in this game, but I think the Pats win. I think the Pats win and cover. I think they could win by a touchdown. My gut's trying to. I might change it to the Browns. No, I said, is this game in Cleveland? This game's at home. Never mind. So I said at Cleveland in the beginning. This game is at home too. I like the Browns to be spread hunters at home, but not on the road here in Foxborough. They're coming off 3 straight away games. That place is going to be jumping, bro. That place is going to be. They haven't been at home since September. So they're going to be jumping in Foxborough. I don't think the Browns have a chance in this game, so I think they cover. Giants at Eagles. Eagles are 7.5-point favorites. The Eagles offense woke up last week. They started to get under center. They started to run the ball with Saquon Barkley. I think that's going to be the recipe for success in this game against the Giants as well, who have one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. They're allowing 5.2 yards per carry. And if you remember, in that Thursday night football game, the Eagles started off the game by pounding the rock with Saquon, and then he was gashing them. Then they had to get away from the run game. I don't think they'll need to get away from the run game in this matchup. I think Saquon finally has his breakout game. I feel like I've been saying that for weeks now, but this is the time Saquon Barkley is going to carry the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're going to lean on the run game because you can't sell out for the run anymore against this Eagles team. We saw the Vikings kind of do that last week, and it was A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown again. They're going to be able to stretch the field, these pass catchers, against this Giants secondary that has been playing a lot better than a lot of people thought it would, including myself going into the season. Cordell Flott, I'm pretty sure he got hurt last week, though, so I don't know if he's playing, but he's been incredible. Not incredible, but way better. Paulson Adebo has been solid, as well as just Deonte Banks is just the worst cornerback in the NFL. I think the Giants can cover the spread again, though, because their offense is averaging 28 points per game since Jackson Dart took over. And this Eagles defense, granted, the first time they played the Giants, they were without Quinyon Mitchell, who got hurt in the game, and they were without Jalen Carter. They will have those guys back, so I don't know if the Giants' passing attack will be as prominent, but the Eagles can't really stop the run. And their pass rush is just non-existent. Non-existent. They're 26th in sacks, 25th in pressure rate. They're allowing 4.6 yards per carry on the ground. And Scout had their all-pro linebacker, Zach Bond, looking like his little boy out there last time they played. So I think it's going to be heavy dosage of the run game with Scat, even Jackson Dart. I don't think they'll be able to pass the ball as effectively, but I do think they'll be able to put up a good amount of points. I love the over in this game. I don't think either defense will be able to stop either offense. But I like the Giants plus 7.5. I think they keep it close. Especially Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson are questionable, and the Giants' pass rush is dangerous. Hurts is on pace for a career high 51 sacks this season as well. So even when the O-line is healthy, which it hasn't really been for this Eagles team, it has regressed a little bit. So I think the Giants cover again. I think the Eagles win, but the Giants cover, and I like the over in this game as well, 44.5. I like the over more than anything in this game. Bills 4-2 at the Carolina Panthers, who are 4-3. I do not think the Panthers are a legit team at all. I think the Bills are going to blow them out coming off of the bye. I'm not buying the Panthers for a split second. Not buying them for a split second. Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard is a great RB duo. People are like discrediting everything Chuba Hubbard did for the Panthers over the last couple of seasons because of how good Rico Dowdle looked for 2 weeks. And Rico Dowdle did look electrifying, and he has been more efficient this season. You can't just throw Chuba to the curbside. You can't just do it. There's a reason they paid him. He's going to get his. And this rushing attack has looked good so far this year, especially over the last few weeks. And the Bills have the worst run defense in the NFL. So there is an avenue here where the Panthers control the clock, run the football. But I think the Bills are just going to get out to an early start here, and the Panthers won't be able to establish the run. They'll have to play from behind. They'll have to make Bryce Young pass the football. And as bad as the Bills' run defense is, they're also getting Matt Milano back. He was in practice. He was limited, but he was at practice. So they're likely to get Matt Milano back. Him and Ed Oliver haven't played at the same time really at all this season, and that is like their two best run defenders. The Bills' secondary's got guys like Teron Johnson, Christian Benford are solid players. And outside of Ted McMillan, there isn't really any pressing receiving threat for this Panthers offense. So I think the Bills get out to an early lead. The Panthers are going to have to abandon the run. Bills dominate. They cover 7.5. And I think they blow out bad teams. I know they blow out bad teams. The Panthers are a bad team. I understand the Panthers are 3-0 at home. I'm not really moved at all. Not really moved at all. Yeah, so take the Bills minus 7.5. I got to tell you, this early slate, I'm grateful that there's football. Not really encouraging. I think is everybody a touchdown favorite. Every single game besides the Niners game is a touchdown favorite or more. We got Bears at Ravens. If you know anything about me over the last few weeks, I've been telling you the Ravens are coming. The Ravens are coming. Do not count this Ravens team out yet. The Ravens offense is fully healthy. The Bears allow 5.3 yards per carry. They got Derrick Henry coming off a week's rest, who's averaging 5 yards a carry on the season. Derrick Henry's going to run for 150 yards. The Bears have been winning, but it's been in spite of Caleb. Not that he's been playing bad, but it's not like he's elevated this Bears offense by any stretch of the imagination. The Bears defense is just creating a lot of turnovers. And outside of the Derrick Henry fumbles early on in the season, that should be area of emphasis for Derrick Henry is hold on to the damn ball coming out of the bye. They can't afford any more fumbles. They can't afford any more turnovers. And Lamar Jackson doesn't throw a whole lot of interceptions either. I don't think the Bears get the turnovers that they have been getting against Spencer Rattler, against Geno Smith, because Lamar Jackson isn't Spencer Rattler or Geno Smith. He takes care of the football. I think the Baltimore Ravens make a statement on Sunday. I think they beat the Bears by 2 touchdowns. I think Derrick Henry runs for 150 yards. And although I do think this defense is still not good, they're getting pretty healthy, man. Roquan's all the way back. Kyle Van Noy's all the way back. Marlon Humphrey and Kyle Hamilton are still questionable. Marlon Humphrey has an illness right now, so he was not at practice. Kyle Hamilton was limited at practice. Nate Wiggins is back. I think this Ravens defense will be good enough, where the offense will just take care of business. I think they blow the Bears out. Fully rested Ravens team with the season on the line, and Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry's one of the worst run defenses in football. Ravens by a million. Lamar doesn't throw any. I'm just reading off my notes now. It's everything I said already. Yeah, I understand the Ravens defense has been bad. They look healthier now, besides Matabike, which is a huge loss. But they look healthier, especially if Kyle Hamilton and Marlon Humphrey play. That secondary should be pretty stout against this Bears group of weapons that is uninspiring. I understand Rome Odunze's been good. DJ Moore's had Pro Bowl caliber seasons. He's not really done a whole lot this year. Caleb Williams just isn't. He's not an accurate passer. So I love the Ravens in this game all day by a few touchdowns. I love Derrick Henry rushing yards. I got burnt on Derrick Henry laddered rushing yards earlier this year. That might be in the playbook again though today or on Sunday. All right, last game of today. Make sure you come back tomorrow. I'll have the rest of the slate. What is it? Excuse me. Sorry, I lost my notes. Okay, 49ers at Texans. The Texans' offensive line has been garbage, but this is a good matchup for them because the 49ers generate the least amount of pass rush in the NFL. They're the lowest pressure rate, 32nd in pressure rate at just 11%. They have only 9 sacks on the season, which is 31st in the NFL, and the 49ers' pass defense is mid. Can the Texans' offense have any type of efficiency? Can they move the ball at all? That will be the key in this game because the Texans defense is playing at another worldly level. The Texans defense this season is top 5 against the run, top 5 against the pass, top 5 in turnovers created, top 5 in yards allowed per play. Keep in mind, top 5 in turnovers created with a bye week. The Texans defense is top 3 unit in the NFL. They're just getting sold out by one of the worst offenses I've seen in a very long time. And look at the shirt I'm wearing. The Texans offense has been horrible. Absolutely horrible. Every time CJ Stroud drops back to pass, he gets off his first read and then he panics because his internal clock has just been so messed up since his rookie year because he ran for his life last year. He's running for his life again this year. And on Monday Night Football in Seattle last week, there was a play where he actually had time in the pocket, but after he got to his second read, he panicked, put his head down, started to run, realized, oh, I have time here. I don't need to run. Picked his head back up. So, I'm worried about CJ's internal clock with all the pressure that's been in his face over the last season and a half. That's going to be the difference in this game. Can they get pressure on CJ Stroud? I don't think they'll be able to. I think this offensive line in Houston is a little bit underrated because they're just so young, particularly like Ursary, the left tackle. They got some young guards in there as well. So I think they'll be able to contain this Niners pass rush that has been horrible. It's just, can the offense score some points? I think they'll be able to. I think this is a kitchen sink game for the Texans, and they're going to pull out all the stops with the season on the line. I like the Texans in this game against the 49ers. The Texans defense is just too gross, man. They really are. Let's get into the 4 o'clock slate of games. We start in Tampa Bay at New Orleans. We'll keep this one brief here because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just a better team than New Orleans Saints. But to break it down, we'll go matchup for matchup. What we like to do, offense versus defense, right? Saints defense allows 6.7 yards per pass attempt, which is pretty high, even without Godwin, Evans, and Ibuka. I think and Tez Johnson or Ibuka is questionable, but I think he'll play. Tez Johnson, Cade Otton, and Emeka Ibuka, Sterling Shepard is more than enough with Baker and this offensive line against the Saints defense that is bottom of the league in virtually everything, bottom half the league in virtually everything. They don't generate too much pass rush, even though Baker is without the right side of his offensive line. I think this Bucs offense will be just fine. I think one of the main reasons he struggled so much against the Detroit Lions was they were getting pressure a lot, causing him to kind of be inaccurate with his throws. I don't think the Saints defense, I know the Saints defense doesn't generate as much pressure as the Detroit Lions defense. So I think Baker will bounce back. A lot of people are ripping on him. That's exactly where Baker likes to be. He played like garbage on Monday Night Football. Baker with a chip on his shoulder is a dangerous man. He's back now. Like the way the Baker, you know those memes, it's like the Baker cycle, and it's like you are here. Well, it goes, everybody hates on Baker, calls him garbage. He plays out of his mind. People say, oh, it's just a fluke. It won't happen again. Continues to play out of his mind. Everybody gives Baker his flowers. Nobody hates on Baker anymore. Plays like dog shit. And then everybody hates on Baker. We're back at the everybody hates on Baker train. That's where he's going to start playing his best football again. Expect Baker to bounce back in a major way against the New Orleans Saints. Expect him to throw for about 350 yards and maybe 5 touchdowns, even without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Baker Mayfield's an absolute weapon, and everybody's ripping on him recently. So I love Baker to go over his passing yards in this game. I love the Bucs to win by 21 points because Spencer Rattler also in 2 starts against the Bucs last year threw 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, completed 70%, less than 70% of his passes, or excuse me, less than 60% of his passes, got sacked 7 times. Todd Bowles' defense blitzing a lot against the Saints passing game. Spencer Rattler just played his worst game as a professional against the Chicago Bears defense that isn't that good, but they do generate a lot of turnovers. They are very opportunistic when the ball is in their vicinity. I will say that about the Chicago Bears defense. I don't like Spencer Rattler in this matchup at all. I think Baker Mayfield's going to bounce back in a major way. Give me Tampa Bay minus the points. Give me Baker Mayfield passing yards, and give me Baker Mayfield to throw 4 touchdowns. That's how we're feeling. I think it's a rout in New Orleans, Tampa Bay by 20. Lock that in. The Bucs offense also averaged 39 points per game versus the Saints last year. Very similar Saints defense. Some might say it's worse. No Tyrann Mathieu. Okay. The 1-6 Titans take on the 6-1 Colts. Obviously another stinker. An absolute stinker. Because the Colts are going to beat them by 30. Colts by 30. The Titans have a bottom 5 offense in the NFL and a bottom 5 defense. They might not have the worst record in the league, but they are the worst team in the league, respectfully, with my Jets shirt on. The Colts have been blowing out bad teams. The Titans have been getting blown out by bad teams. The Titans are allowing, if you really want to get into the matchup, the Titans are allowing 4.5 yards per carry, and the Colts have the best rushing attack in football. The Colts cover 14.5. I think the Colts cover 30. I don't know why the spread's only 2 touchdowns. The Titans might not score because the Colts are just going to have the ball the whole game. And when the Titans do get the ball, 3 and out. 3 and out. The Titans don't stand a chance in this game. The Colts beat them by 3 touchdowns. I think we will see, is Anthony Richardson still on the road? I think we'll see Anthony Richardson in this game if he's the backup. We'll see backup players. We'll see the second stringers for Indianapolis in the third quarter in this game. I think the Colts absolutely dismantle the Titans here at home. If this was on the road, I would be a little bit more concerned. Road game, divisional opponent. But at home, this Colts offensive line is the best in the NFL. L'Jarius Sneed is not the guy that got paid the contract that the Titans gave him. He's not that guy anymore in Kansas City. I think Pittman's going to have a day. It's just not good for the Titans. They're an absolute joke, man. And I know a joke when I see one. I'm a Jets fan. Alrighty. We are flying through today's episode. This isn't going to be the longest episode. Friday episodes usually aren't that long either. And we only have 4 games to talk about. So make sure you go to the YouTube. Or if you're on the YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Boys, 3-1 at Denver. This is a good matchup. This should be a fun game. The way I look at Cowboys-Broncos is we have the best defense in the NFL, one of the best defenses in the NFL, versus one of the worst defenses in the NFL. And we look at the games that the Cowboys have lost. They lost to the Panthers, they lost to the Bears, and they lost to the Eagles on opening night. After the delay on opening night, they couldn't get a first down. They had a few 3-and-outs. Offense didn't play perfect. They lost. Against the Bears, they turned the ball over a few times, Dak, in the red zone on 4th down. And then I'm pretty sure there was a couple of fumbles in that game as well by Dallas. Didn't play perfect offensively, lost the game. Against the Panthers, they get the ball back in the 4th quarter with multiple chances to go down the field and score some points. 3-and-out. Cowboys offense needs to play perfect, or else they lose the game. That's how bad this defense has been. I don't think they'll play perfect against the Denver Broncos. And I'll also say this, CeeDee Lamb versus Pat Surtain is going to be a matchup that a lot of people are paying attention to. Ja'Marr Chase against Pat Surtain, 4 catches for 35 yards on 54 routes run in his career. I think Pat's going to lock CeeDee up here. No disrespect to CeeDee. I think Ja'Marr Chase is a better player. Ja'Marr Chase has gotten locked up by Pat Surtain. So I think PS2 is going to have CeeDee in handcuffs. Riley Moss on George Pickens, that's a matchup they could exploit. So I don't think it'll be locked up. I don't think this is Cowboys offense will be it's not going to be completely neutralized because they are that good. Dak is playing at that high of a level. You could throw the 86 Bears out there. It wouldn't matter. This offense is going to score points. However, this offense isn't going to play a perfect game against a defense like the Denver Broncos, who have the best pass rush in football, even though the Cowboys' offensive line has been great. Top 3 in sacks allowed, top 3 in the league. Like, Dak's been sacked. The only person sacked more than Dak is less than Dak is Daniel Jones. The only teams allowing a lower sack rate in the NFL are the Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts. So I think that this Broncos pass rush, I'm struggling to get this out. But what I'm trying to say is that the water break here, fellas. Let's regroup. Let's regroup. My thoughts are here, though. My thoughts are valid here. Don't let my inability to get out the coherent thought impact your opinion on if the thought is coherent, because I promise you it is. So when we talk about how this Denver pass rush is going to get after Dak and put him on his spot, if that's a point I want to make, a counterpoint to that could be, well, the Packers have an elite pass rush. Why didn't they get home? The Packers have a pretty good defense. Why did Dallas drop 40? And my counterpoint to that counterpoint of me saying that the Broncos pass rush is going to get home is that, one, the Broncos pass rush is way better than the Packers. Number one. Number two, the Packers don't have the guys in the secondary that the Broncos do, respectfully. Keyshawn Nixon he's a very underrated corner. He's not Pat Surtain, brother. He's not PS2. They don't have a Talona Hufanga. They don't have a Riley Moss, respectfully. Riley Moss. He was the white corner before Cooper DeJean. Doesn't get the credit he deserved. He was the real trailblazer. So, my point is, as good as this Cowboys offense was against one of the better defenses in the NFL in the Green Bay Packers, this Broncos defense is just a whole tier above Green Bay. And I don't think they'll be able to play a perfect game. And in the games where the Cowboys haven't been able to play perfect games, they've lost. And they've lost by multiple possessions. Not against the Panthers, not against the Eagles, really just the Bears. But they've lost by more than 3. In both of those games, the spread is 2.5. Give me Denver on the spread. That being said, the only thing where I could see something happen here is that Bo Nix and this Broncos offense for some reason doesn't show up. If that happens, if this Cowboys defense steps up, highly unlikely, and this Broncos offense doesn't show up, then they're in trouble, and the Broncos would be in trouble. But I think Bo Nix is going to come out here. Got to be riding high after that type of win. Broncos defense also allows 3.8 yards per carry, the 6th least in the NFL. So I know we've talked a lot about the passing game with this Cowboys offense against this Broncos pass defense, which is, again, one of the best in the NFL. This run D in Denver is also elite. So I don't know if they'll be able to get Javonte going. So there's a lot to unpack. This is a very fun matchup. This should be the main game everybody's paying attention to for the 4:00 slate. I think this is one of the best. These teams are about evenly ranked. If you're ranking AFC teams and if you're ranking NFC teams, here, we'll do it real quickly. Here, quick AFC ranking. Number 1, Chiefs. Number 2, Colts. Number 3, Chargers. Number 3, Chargers. Number 4, Bills. Number 5, AFC North fans are going to hate me for this. The Ravens. Patriots 5, Ravens 6. And then I think Broncos 7 there. I think that's pretty fair. And then every other team, and then the Jets, and then the Steelers underneath the Jet. No, I'm kidding. But Broncos at 7. If we're ranking NFC teams, right? Lions, Rams, Bucks, Seahawks, Niners. Minus the Niners out of there. Niners are better than the Cowboys. Okay, so thinking out loud here. Then we got the Eagles. I don't think I said the Packers. And then the Cowboys. Yeah, Cowboys are the 8th best team in the NFC. the Broncos are like 6th or 7th best team in the AFC. So I think these teams are both evenly ranked within their conferences. Like they're what am I'm trying to say here is if you take them in the comparison to the rest of their conference, they're about in the same spot and where they match up in terms of contender, with the Broncos maybe a little bit higher because the AFC is weak. So I think these two teams, in terms of like if you're going by a power ranking, they're probably like 14, 15, you know? That's my point. That these are two very evenly productive teams, but they play in completely different styles. Like the Broncos are just a defensive powerhouse. The Cowboys are an offensive powerhouse. So I think it's going to be a very fun game. But at the end of the day, I'm taking the best defense in the league versus one of the worst defenses in the league, and then a middle of the pack offense versus one of the best offenses in the NFL. Something's got to give, and what's given is that the Cowboys defense absolutely sucks major dick. So give me the Broncos minus the points here. Just a reminder, last week I went 21-6, which if you looked at my bank account, you'd be like, how the fuck did you do that? Well, I literally went against every single pick that I said. And for Thursday Night Football, on yesterday's episode, I said I like the Chargers -3 and I like the over 44.5. Both of those hit, but yet here I am with a thumb up my ass, just spamming player props. I'm going strictly on what I say on this episode this week, and we'll see how we do. Last week, I went 21-6 with the picks that I gave on this episode. 21-6 on this preview. 21-6. Thursday Night Football yesterday, 2-0 with the picks I gave out. Even though I did give out Jordan Mason rushing yards, but that was before Aaron Jones got hurt, so I give myself a little bit of slack. I cut myself a little bit of slack there. I said Chargers -3. I said the over 44.5, and yet I'm down like 4 units on the night. Explain that to me, Devin, you fucking moron. I think I'm just addicted. I have no discipline. I have no trigger discipline. And you wouldn't know about that because you're a liberal. If you get that reference, you're an absolute certified beautician. But yeah, I have no discipline. I have no trigger discipline. I'm just constantly firing bets left, right, and center here. Like I just spam them. I spam like 10 $5 parlays. That adds up to 50. You go 0 for 10. Not ideal. Justin Jefferson doesn't get in the end zone because Carson Wentz is a schmuck and Keenan Allen is one, whatever. You get the point. Let's get into Sunday Night Football. Good Sunday night game. In terms of storylines, we have Aaron Rodgers back against his old team, the Green Bay Packers. Packers at Steelers. Listen, everybody's glazing Aaron Rodgers like he's had some late career renaissance. That's not the case at all. He is on pace for a career high in interceptions, a career low in passing yards. Keep in mind, he played in a 16-game season for the first 15 seasons of his career. He's on pace for one of the lowest QBRs in his career. And he's on pace for a third straight healthy season of double-digit interceptions. Aaron Rodgers has not been the guy Steelers fans will tell you he's been. Aaron Rodgers shouldn't have to carry. It's not Aaron Rodgers' fault. He's mid, bro. He's so mid. Stop pretending he's mid because he cooked the Bengals. Give me a break here. The Steelers' offensive line also not good, which is half the reason why Aaron Rodgers' passing yards are so low, honestly, because he's getting the ball out so fast, and he has nobody on this no pass catcher beside DK Metcalf that can, one, do anything with the ball in their hands, or two, get any type of separation. So this offense is in trouble against this Packers defense because outside of DK Metcalf, nobody gets open. They've been spamming the tight ends. Arthur Smith's done a great job, but this is easily the best defense. Don't quote me on that, actually. The Steelers did see the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks have a better defense than the Packers. So other than the Seahawks, I think this is the best defense that the Steelers have seen. The Steelers' offensive line, not good. But they played good against the Bengals, Devin. What are you talking about? They were great against the Bengals. The Bengals' defense, number one, sucks major dick. Number two, they were without their best player, Trey Hendrickson, who led the NFL in sacks last year. So I'd hope they played a little bit good on the offensive line, not moved at all. If the Steelers' offensive line, it is young, so it is completely plausible that they're just getting better. Like, I'm not ruling that out of the equation, but they played the Bengals. If the Steelers' offensive line is a good game on Sunday Night Football against the Packers pass rush, at least they don't get completely manhandled. Shout out Zach Frazier, West Virginia legend, best center in the league. Other than him, the rest of the O-line is garbage. If the rest of the Steelers' line plays well against the Packers, I'll give them credit. But for now, I'm going with what I've seen for the pre-Bengals Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line, worst in the NFL. One of the worst in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is a statue. Nobody gets open. And Aaron Rodgers is mid, bro, at the end of the day. And not only is this Packers pass rush elite, but they're top 5 team against the run as well. They allow just 3.5 yards per carry. I have a tough time seeing the Steelers offense be productive. And as far as the Steelers defense is concerned, They weren't able to stop the run for the first few weeks of the season. They got Derek Harmon against the Patriots. They were locks against the run. Then they play the Bengals on Thursday Night Football, who were averaging 3.3 yards per carry going into that game, and the Steelers couldn't stop Chase Brown again, averaging 9.8 yards per carry versus the Steelers. Not to mention the secondary in Pittsburgh is an absolute joke, man. One of the worst secondaries in the league. They can't cover in man-to-man, but yet they continue to play man-to-man. Although there's no marquee names in this Green Bay Packers wide receiver core, I think Romeo Doubs was a very underrated route runner. I think Matthew Golden coming out was the best route runner in the draft with the Emeka Egbuka. That might have aged like a garbage take now that we're looking back on it. But seriously, Matthew Golden was one of the best route runners. He was, if it wasn't him, it was Emeka in terms of like top tier route runner in this class. I don't think Jalen Ramsey could cover Matthew Golden. I really don't. JPJ's, dude, Steelers fans talk about Joey Porter Jr. like he's Deion fucking Sanders. That guy is so beyond average. Like he's a serviceable starter, but they talk about him like he's some elite top 10 corner. Like he doesn't even sniff the top 20 corners in football. I bet I could name 20 off the top of my head. And you know what? I will. I will name 20 off the top of my head. Let's see here. Christian Gonzalez, DJ Reed, Terrion Arnold, not Terrion Arnold, Christian Gonzalez, DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, Pat Surtain, AJ Terrell, Keyshawn Nixon on the Green Bay Packers having a great year. Trey Amos, rookie on the Commanders, absolute stud, most underrated player in football. Will Johnson, rookie on the Cardinals. Who else we got? Jalen Ramsey's better than Joey Porter. I don't care. You can do more with Jalen Ramsey. Maybe not in coverage, but he's a better football player than Joey Porter Jr. All right, now we got to start going. I'm definitely missing. Oh, Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Charvarius Ward, Jarius Sneed, even though I talked about him earlier on this episode. Jarius Sneed's better than Joey Porter Jr. We're at 13. Eric Stingley, Kamari Lassiter, Isaiah Rodgers, that's 16. But Isaiah Rodgers got cooked by Devontae Smith, don't care. Joey Porter Jr. couldn't hold Devontae Smith's jockstrap either. Cam Bynum. Thinking. Oh, Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen. Thinking. That's 19. Thinking. Let's go. Did I say Pat? Yeah, I said Pat. I'm not going to say Riley Moss. Who else? AFC. Oh, Trent McDuffie. Boom. So I'm sure I missed some elite corners too in that leg. I'm sure I missed some. That was just off the top of my head. Easy 20 better than Joey Porter Jr. And Steelers fans talk about that guy like he's the second coming of Deion. Shut your trap. The Yinzer glasses, as a friend of the program, Steelers by Joey once told me, the Yinzer glasses go crazy. They do. Not to mention, I already read that. I already saw that part of the notes. Secondary stinks. Steelers pass rush. The way the Steelers win this game is if their pass rush just absolutely manhandled this Packers offensive line. That hasn't been anything special this year, but they've been moving a lot of guys around. It hasn't been fully healthy all at once. So there are some question marks and some concerns to be had about this Packers offensive line. And if this Steelers pass rush just absolutely wrecks the game, they're going to need a few turnovers, maybe a strip sack, maybe just get after Jordan Love. Jordan Love is known to be a little bit of a gunslinger. And I will say this about the Steelers defense, even though they're garbage in coverage, they're very opportunistic when the ball is in and around them. They deflect a lot of passes. They get tips and overthrows. They don't waste their opportunities to create turnovers. And Jordan Love is known for putting the ball in harm's way. Plus, if the Steelers pass rush can disrupt him all night long, I think that's the recipe for success here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I don't think the offense will be able to do anything against this Packers defense. So I do like the under in this game. But that's the way, like, I did a lot of ripping on the Steelers in this preview, but the Steelers pass rush is elite. And I think if they can get after Jordan Love and make Jordan Love have to play a little bit of hero ball and then get opportunistic when the ball is in the air and around Steelers defenders, they can win this game. They need a few turnovers here. Give the offense some short fields, help them like get Boswell going, maybe get a couple of good returns where you only need one first down and Boswell's in range. I think special teams and defense is where the Steelers win this game. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is not as good as the Steelers fans will tell you he is. Like, he's been carrying them this season. He's just not. He's on pace for a career high in interceptions, a career low in passing yards. Keep in mind, he played more than half of his career when there was only 16 games. It was 16 game season, and he's on pace for a career low in passing yards. He's on pace for one of the lowest quarterback ratings in his career, and he's on pace for his third straight healthy season of double-digit interceptions. He's washed, man. The Steelers' offensive line is also not good. Aaron Rodgers is an absolute statue against Micah Parsons or Rashawn Gary and this Green Bay Packers pass rush with Luke Van Ness. They're going to get after him if he doesn't get the ball out fast. But even when he does get the ball out fast, that's part of the reason he's on pace for one of the lowest passing yardage totals of his career, because he's getting the ball out fast and nobody's getting enough separation where they can catch and run besides DK Metcalf, because the receiving core in Pittsburgh is an absolute joke. Besides DK, who's not even like a top 15 receiver in football, it's just pitiful. I think the Steelers offense is going to have a tough day against the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football, despite it's, Aaron Rodgers back against his old team. No. Aaron Rodgers is washed up. He stinks. The Steelers don't stink, but they're not a real threat to anybody. Nobody's taking the Steelers seriously in the AFC, and they shouldn't. And I think the Packers are the better football team. They cover the spread by 2.5. Unless, like I said, the Steelers pass rush could be a difference maker in this game. But I like Green Bay minus 2.5 here. All right, everybody. That'll do it for today's episode of the Fire Sports Takes podcast.